The thinnest wearable breast pump on the market was just released, but to be honest, it's not even my favorite feature about this new pump. Wearable pumps are more popular than ever, and honestly, most of the new ones being released are pretty similar in one way or the other. That's why I'm excited about the new Momcozy Air1 that was just released. It has a few features that stand out from other breast pumps and are features that I have personally been wanting to see. In this video, I am going to share my first impressions of this wearable, go over some of the features that might be appealing to you, do a brief tutorial, and also compare it to some of the other breast pumps that Momcozy has. And if you're not sure if you should get a wearable or a more traditional breast pump, I would encourage you to download my free pump comparison guide, which you can grab in the description for the video below. Before we get started though, whenever I talk about wearable breast pumps, I like to throw in the caveat that for most moms, it is not ideal to use this for every single pump. They are getting better and better, but I still see the best results when you combine this with a more traditional breast pump. Of course, there's always an exception to the rule, but I always start with caution and then proceed as you see good results. My reviews of breast pumps on this channel also are based on my clinical experience, my handling different breast pumps, and working with a wide variety of moms. I am not currently breastfeeding myself, so I can't give you a personal experience on how this works in comparison to other pumps and what the milk output is like. However, my baby boy is due in just a few weeks, and I will be posting an update as soon as I can when I am able to actually this breast pump myself. I want to start out by talking about some of the features that the Momcozy Air1 has. Some of them you will find in other wearables, and some of them are unique just to this breast pump. As I've already mentioned, this is the thinnest wearable breast pump on the market. It is 21% thinner than the Momcozy M9, which is one of their more thin breast pumps. I have definitely not seen any other wearable breast pump that is this thin. People love wearables, but they also like them to seem a little bit more discreet. I thought I would show you what this looks like on so you can see how it looks. At the end, I'll compare it to some other Momcozy pumps as well. So here I am without any Momcozy pump in. Now I will put this in and then show you what it looks like. There's obviously always going to be some level of bulk when you are wearing a wearable breast pump, but I feel like it's not super noticeable. I just look a little bit more busty. I feel like the shape of it is more similar to what my normal breast shape is already. Some wearable breast pumps are very bulky in the top, so you can definitely tell that there's something in there. However, I feel like this is not super noticeable. You can kind of see the front view of one side. It's definitely bigger, but it's not crazy. I always get people asking me if such and such breast pump is good for someone with larger breasts. I am obviously not the largest chested person, but I'm not flat chested either, and this fits really well. I do find that thinner pumps are going to be better for moms that have larger chests because you are going to be able to fit it more easily in your bra, and you're not having to deal with the bulk of a larger breast pump. With that said, I would love to hear from anyone that tries this pump that is larger chested, because I know that is a common question. Now, I teased at the beginning that there's a feature about this pump that I absolutely love that I have not seen in any other wearable breast pump, and that is the transparent cover. This is something that I have been dying to have in a wearable breast pump. Whenever I'm doing a sizing session with a mom and we're using her wearable or trying to help her figure it out, I hear over and over, oh, I just wish I could see my nipple to make sure it's actually in there correctly. And I agree, it's frustrating when we can't make sure that your nipple is actually lined up. With this transparent top, you can actually see your nipple, so you can make sure it's aligned correctly. You also can see that milk is flowing, which isn't as easy with a lot of wearable pumps. There's nothing more frustrating than going to take your wearable pump out of your bra and seeing that no milk has come out after 20 or 30. I will say when I put this on, I still really couldn't see my nipple just from looking above. But if you have longer nipples, it should be easier. However, you can just take a picture of it this way because it's transparent, and that's going to help you to align it a little bit better. Here's a little demo right here of what it looks like with my silicone demo breast. I really hope that this becomes more commonplace in wearable breast pumps, because alignment of the nipple is crucial to having success with a wearable. The quietness factor of a wearable pump is always important to moms. One of the reasons people like wearables are because they are more discreet and they can use them in situations where it may not typically be as easy to pump. However, if it's super loud and humming and making a ton of noise, that can negate the factor of it being wearable and unseeable. This one comes in at about 45 decibels, which is pretty good. There are some that are quieter, but there are definitely wearable pumps that are a lot louder and more noticeable. I'm going to show you what it sounds like now. Definitely not silent, but it's not super loud either, which is great. So I feel like this is a good option for people that are working or that are wanting to pump with a little bit less noise. The motor exerts up to 200 millimeters of mercury, which is pretty good. Some of the top of the line breast pumps out there go up to 300. And so one of the concerns when you make a pump a little bit smaller is that you are going to lose some of the power. However, that does not seem to be the case. I have turned this on. I tried it briefly. Because I'm pregnant, I don't want to stimulate my breasts too much, but I did try it on and I felt like the suction was quite good. When fully charged, the Momcozy Air1 can last up to 15 pump sessions or for 5 days. Most wearable pumps last up to 5 sessions, some even less. So I was really impressed with that. It also comes with a wireless charging case, so you just charge the case and then you can put your pumps in here to charge, which makes it even more convenient and easy to charge on the go. This pump is also compatible with the Momcozy app, which I find is very convenient. I am a big fan of apps and I know a lot of you are as well. One of the downsides is it does not have an LED screen to see the settings. So if you want to see what power setting it's on, you are going to have to use the app. There are controls on top that you can change the mode and you can do plus or minus, but there's a little bit less control over knowing what is going on without seeing the app. However, if you're someone that's always using your phone, you're going to use your app anyways for every pump session. That's probably not a huge deal breaker. I suspect they had to remove the LED screen to make it thinner. There's always some cost to making something a little bit more portable. So now for the elephant in the room, how much does this pump cost? It comes in at $369, which makes it one of the most expensive wearable pumps on the market. It's definitely the most expensive Momcozy pump, which typically they are more affordable and people find more budget friendly. Because it's a newer pump, there's also not a lot of reviews out there. So I know it can be difficult to want to invest in something without knowing the reliability and the longevity of that breast pump. So that's something that you have to weigh the pros and cons of if that price is worth it to you to get some of these extra features. The good news is you can be one of the people to leave a review though, so other people can know if it's worth buying. The standard flange that comes with it is the 24 millimeter, which is pretty much the case for every breast pump out there. I'm just crossing my fingers that one of these days a breast pump company is going to make their breast pump standard with a size that is much smaller, maybe around a 15. But for now, I'm not going to judge them too harshly because that is pretty standard. It does come with several different inserts and you can buy smaller sizes if you need to. So there's at least that option, but I would prefer if the flange was just one that you didn't have to use without inserts because there is always some loss of suction and output with inserts in my experience. The flange itself is silicone all the way through. It is comfortable on the outside. It feels nice on the breast. I will admit that I prefer a flange that is a harder plastic, but again, I can't give my true opinion on how well this works until baby boy arrives. I do think it looks nice. It's a pretty pink color. It does feel a little plasticky on the outside, but when you have something transparent, there's not a lot you could do. It would be weird if they made this glass. And so I feel like it still looks nice. It has this nice egg shape, which again, I feel like fits with a wide variety of breast shapes. And I feel like it looks a little bit more natural. The Momcozy Air1 comes with 2 of these pumps, one for each side. You can't just buy one at a time like some of the other Momcozy pumps. It comes with the portable charging case, 3 different insert sizes of 21, 19, and 17, a flange sizing card. It also comes with the chargers for both of the pumps and for the charging case. Now let's shift gears a little bit into a tutorial. This is honestly not a complex breast pump, so there's not a lot to show you, but I still want to show you what I can. One thing I do love about this pump is how easy it is to put together. There are some wearables out there, some that I actually really like, that are so hard to put together. When you are pumping, especially if you're pumping like at night or in a situation where it's a little bit more stressful, the last thing you want to do is be fumbling around trying to find all the pieces of the pumps. This one only has about 3 main components and is so easy to put together. Here is the collection cup. You can just pop it off, super easy. There is the membrane that's inside of that. And so you will need to clean that. You will need to clean this. And then there is the motor, which obviously that you want to be more careful with, not submerging in water. The flange is very easy to put in and out. So this is probably one of the easiest pumps to assemble. You just pop that in there and then pop this one back on, and there you have it. Super easy to put together, very easy to clean. It doesn't have all the nooks and crannies that some other pumps may have. And so if you are looking for convenience, this one definitely wins out in that area. And then of course, if you have inserts, you'll pop them in here into the wearable. With the inserts, you want to make sure that they are the shorter ones rather than long flanges, because this does have a shorter tunnel. Once you have your pump all put together, you need to download the app to pair the pumps with the app. It's very easy to do, and here is a little tutorial of what the app looks like on the inside and how to use it. So you'll open up the Momcozy app, and if you have not already connected, you'll press this plus button at the top to click add device. This is also where you can add reminders, which is really handy. Show you there. You could say what you want them to be reminded about, the date and time. This is a really nice way to maybe schedule ahead your pump session so you don't forget to pump when you need to. After you've paired your devices, they will show up here in the main section of your app. So you will just turn them on in order to connect, and they very quickly connect, as you can see there. It shows left and right, and you can click on either one of them, and you can have the auto mode, which starts out with stimulation and expression, and it goes through a variety of settings. You can do manual, where you can click stimulation, expression, and mixed with up to 15 different settings for that, or you can customize. If you find a mode that you really like, you can create that, or it has two that it has already created. There's milk boost and milk relief. You can also come into the tracking section, where this is set for me because I'm pregnant. I'm able to do my weight log, pumping, and things like that. It has some different settings in here. And then there's baby, where you can create a baby profile, a care log, so you can keep track of different things such as when they're feeding, when they're sleeping, diaper changes. It also is going to track your milk output. So it will show here in the little pictures as you pump, it will sense how much milk is in there. You can turn it on from the app, you can turn it off from the app, you can press start and control everything from within this mobile app. As I already mentioned, you can control it from the pump itself if you're not wanting to use the app. You're not going to be able to see the levels as easily, but as you get used to it, you'll probably be able to figure out what feels great. So what you do, you just press on the power button. And then once it starts flashing, you can press the plus or minus button, and it will start out in the letdown or stimulation mode. Once your milk starts to flow, you can switch it to expression mode. There's also a feature with the app that will automatically switch it if it senses milk. If you want to change the settings yourself, or the mode yourself though, there's this button on top with two little arrows, and you can just press that to go back and forth. So those are like the faster sucks. And then there's the slower sucks. As I said, this is a very simple pump to use, so I don't need to give you a lot of information on how to use it. As with any pump, it can take time to figure out what settings are best for your body, so play around with it and see what you respond to best. Finally, I want to compare this to some of the other Momcozy breast pumps out there. Momcozy is the leader in wearable pumps, and they have a lot of different options, and it can be a little bit overwhelming trying to figure out which one is best for you. They are available in tons of different price points and have different features that are going to be appealing to different people. First, I'm going to compare it to the Momcozy M9. This is probably the most similar pump that they have to it because it has the Generation 3 motor, has the silicone flange, and it also pairs with the app. So I will show you these side by side. The Momcozy Air1 is about 20% smaller than the M9. So this one is already pretty thin to begin with, but you can see it does have that slimmer profile. I do think that this one looks a little bit nicer just because of the quality of the case, but this one has the clear case on top, which is awesome and negates any aesthetics that you lose from pump to pump. The flange that comes with the M9 is silicone on the outside and it's hard plastic on the inside, which I actually prefer. The Air1 just has the plastic all the way around and throughout the whole flange. This one is much easier to put together. I will say that a couple times I've had a little bit of trouble with this one just with the plastic part on the inside. It's not like a huge deal breaker, but this one again is so easy to put together and I absolutely love that. They have similar controls. With the M9, you can switch if it's left or right, and that will pair with the app. With this one, it's just right or left, and so whenever you pair it in the app as, that is going to always be like, if you said that this is the right one, you should always wear it on the right. With this one, you can switch back and forth. They have pretty similar controls, but this one does have the LED screen, while this one does not have an LED screen. The battery life of the Air 1 is much better, though this one is still quite good. The M9 has a feature where you can charge for one pump session in about 10 minutes. So if it dies, you don't have to charge it all the way in order to get another pump session out of it. This one will hold about 5 ounces, and this one will hold up to 6 ounces or 180 mLs. The container for this is down on the bottom. So that's like a lot of wearable pumps out there. It's connected to the bottom. And so you can just pull that off, pour the milk in. With this one, it is on the front, and you are able to see that milk filling up more easily than you do with the M9. Next, we have the M5, which is probably one of Momcozy's most popular pumps. It's one of the original ones it came out with. This one is certainly more bulky, especially up top. It's like more of a bowl shape. This is more of an egg shape. I feel like this one isn't as cute and pretty, but that may not matter to most of you, especially because it's going to be hidden. But it is quite a bit more bulky, and I feel like you're definitely going to be able to tell that you're wearing this one over the Air 1. Sound-wise, I find them to be pretty similar. The patterns are a little bit different though, so your body may respond in a different way. The Momcozy M5 has the silicone flange similar to this. I think it's a little bit different type of silicone, but they both are silicone. This one has more of that Tupperware top that I don't really love for wearable pumps, but it's pretty easy to put together. There's a couple of different pieces. There's the electric component. So this one's really not that hard to put together. It also will hold 5 versus a 6 that the Air 1 holds. I feel like the M5 isn't quite as spill proof. It doesn't feel quite as sturdy as the Momcozy Air 1. It has the LED screen, and you control everything from the pump itself. It is not compatible with the Momcozy app. And finally, we have the Momcozy V1 Pro. This is the breast pump that Momcozy says has similar strength to a pump that you might get in the hospital. I haven't tested that out myself, but it does seem like a pretty solid pump. It has actual tubing, which I do find that sometimes it makes the suction a little bit better when you have attached tubing to the wearable pumps. With that said, it's not completely tube-free, which is going to be a deal breaker for some moms. It has a silicone flange inside. It's a little bit different than this one, but it is silicone all the way through, and it is fairly easy to put together. Sound-wise, it is quite a bit louder, which is going to happen when you have a pump that is slightly more powerful. They would say that this is better for moms that are exclusively pumping or that are trying to establish their milk supply, and I do think that the motor is slightly better in the V1 Pro. All of the controls for the V1 Pro are in the motor that is not attached to your pump. So this prevents backflow, which is nice. It is not compatible with the app, so you'll just use the motor itself with the attached cups. This one is definitely a lot bulkier. It's more similar to the M5. If you are looking for a pump that allows you to see the milk flow, see your nipple alignment, and have something that is more discreet than any other wearable breast pump out there, this is a great option. I am excited to be able to share my own personal experience with it soon, because unfortunately at this time I can't really give an opinion on how great the milk flow is. But I would love to hear what your experience is and what you think about this breast pump. If you're interested in getting it, you can go to the description for the video to grab yours, and be sure to come back and let me know what you think and what questions you have. Otherwise, thank you for joining me, and I hope that this was a helpful video.